Boom! It is episode 403 of GI Joburg. It is 403, right?
403, 304. Number one is out the door. Here we are, 403. We talking overkill.
And I'm joined by a melodic Rob and stunned Steve.
Mostly silent Steve, but yep,
Ooh.
you are in the right place if you want to talk about a GI Joe toy from the 90s. We're talking about Overkill, the
That's
Bat
correct.
Commander. A talking battle commanders that we all possess, though some are in better shape than others. Wear your chest plates, boys. Jeepers.
That is a
Hey.
great question. I wonder where my chest plate is because it is around.
No
me
shirt,
somewhere.
no service, man. Get
Yeah,
out of
that's
here.
how it goes here.
I know
No,
exactly
my
where it is,
Overkill's
but
here to party, bro. His guns are out.
Indeed. Right. So, this is going to be a head scratcher to a lot of our listenership, but to a
Who's
select
Overkill?
few, you're like, yes, a figure that we really, really dig because there's a lot of good stuff to talk about with this guy.
Mhm.
But up first, a controversy.
Oh.
We normally jump around in
Controversy.
terms of the media appearances first, right?
Yes.
We talk a little bit about the plastic, we talk about comics, we talk about cartoons. But this time, we're going route one to the very first source material, the file card, because there is a
Whoa.
controversy
What?
when it comes to the character of Overkill. Does anyone want
Controversy.
to take a stab at reading this file card? Rob, I
Rob,
look at
Ooh.
you.
Wow. Okay.
Dobbed in.
Overkill, Bat Leader. Overkill began as an experimental prototype for the third generation of bats, but because of his advanced microcomputers and enhanced tactical logic programs, the cost projections were too high for profitable mass production. He might have continued to gather dust on a shelf in the Cobra trademark research labs if Cobra Commander, registered trademark, hadn't decided to utilize him as a battlefield commander for the android troopers. It was Cobra Commander's idea to add a voice synthesizer program to repeat demoralizing slogans at deafening volumes. Overkill's primary job is to operate the destructive Cobra Earthquake trademark
Hey, I have
battle
that.
vehicle. You have a Cobra aircraft?
I have a Cobra Earthquake trademark battle vehicle.
Whoa.
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 Right. So,
That establishes him quite definitively, I feel.
as a shelved, advanced third generation bat,
Yes.
right? Too
Mm-hmm.
expensive. Same thing with Battle Armor Cobra Commander's suit of armor. That was going
Yes.
to be for rank and file, but it was too expensive. That's why they gave it to Cobra Commander.
Cost too much
That's at least for the
money.
file cards kind of
Claiming.
tone.
Yeah.
This character famously was not touched by Larry Hama.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we should start a petition that the revenge nonsense actually wind up being like an offshoot of Overkill.
Yeah, it really
Because
should be.
that would endear me to the Blue Ninjas far more than anything he could do at this point. Like tie it back to an established character that has an action figure
Bring it
in
back.
the
Bring it
classic
back.
ARA line.
Mm.
Anyway,
Mhm.
that's me jumping several tangents. Basically, this is a robot. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
cyborg. It never had any
Mm-hmm.
fleshy parts. It
Mm-hmm.
started its life as an AI, an advanced one, put in a very advanced combat chassis, thinking Terminator, maybe, something along those lines, with a few
C3PO.
more hidden guns
Mm-hmm.
and shit. Um,
C3PO.
and then they decided, no, we're not gonna mass produce this until it was dusted off and he was made into the Bat's commander.
Mm-hmm.
Smart. I like that. Jump a few years into the Devil's Due era of G.I. Joe, and they decide that the best way to incorporate Overkill into the line is actually take the Saw Viper,
Yes.
murdered all those Joes in Benzine,
Mm-hmm.
and Trucial Abysmia, that one,
Yep, that one.
uh, and make it that Snake Eyes didn't actually kill him in the sort of the hundreds of the line.
Word.
He's actually been lying low. Bring him back into the fold, give him sort of command responsibilities, and then get him killed properly this time,
Mm-hmm.
only to have him reanimated as Overkill. So then you've got the
Overkill.
RoboCop Alex Murphy being reanimated kind of trope of like
Yes.
a deceased human being given second life as robot or
Overkill.
cyborg.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cyborg. Yeah,
Cyborg. Should be a cyborg.
Introduced in the same storyline that Mercer was actually introduced in Devil's Due. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Isn't that wild? So we've
Right.
actually talked about the story arc before. Weirdly.
Under the Mercer banner, right. So, gents, right off the bat, which origin story are you more in favor with?
I personally lean towards DD to Devil's Due.
Oh, you like?
I do like it. It's very similar to something else I have in mind that I had in mind for Renegades, which I'm hoping I'll get to share with everybody later on in the episode. But I'm more in favor of that. It's cool. I think it's cool. I like that idea.
Well, it would
There you
seem
go.
Hasbro agrees with you, because every other version after version 1, the origin is all to do with that version of him, Robert Skelton as Overkill.
Yes, they
And-
gave that notorious Saw Viper a name in Devil's Due. It's up to you whether or not you regard that as canon, but yes, Robert
Yeah.
Skelton.
True. Well, I
Hmm.
prefer the original version. I think
Thank you.
robots are cool. And
Helter Skelton. No.
yeah, I think an improved version of the Bats is more interesting than another cyborg. Like we've had one before in that Robo Joe guy. I think
Yes, it's absolutely Robo Joe's origin story, then transplanted onto
into a
this
Cobra dude.
Saw Viper. I mean, it's just ironic that he survived the classic ARAR run of comics, only to then
come
have
back.
his ultimate fate to be killed off and brought back to life, reanimated as Overkill. I think the reason I like the original file cart origin of this character more is simply because it doesn't transplant the Overkill persona onto an existing character. I'm like, where to go to completely destroy or undermine the whole notion of Overkill, to just have him as like a later evolution of the Saw Viper. No, Saw Viper has a character. He had his time in the sun. Let's let this guy be his own person.
Yeah.
The Battle Android Trooper Commander Overkill. And in that vein, let's talk about some cartoon appearances, because we're going to jump around a little bit.
Yeah.
Of course, he first appeared in the Deke cartoon, but I'd like to first make mention of the Sigma 6 cartoon, which only ran 2 seasons, and Overkill was established early doors as the sort of commander and chief kind of architect of Cobra's legions of battle android troopers and massive sort of mecha, like building-sized mecha that the Joes would occasionally tangle with. I mean, this is a trope that was, of course, so common in 2000s anime.
Yeah,
And
because you had to
Sigma
kill
6
something
was
on
very
screen.
much a gonzo animation.
Yeah.
So,
Robots.
I mean, the blurb even goes on about it, like, Sigma 6's mission is to stop Cobra, an evil terrorist organization that uses machines, giant machines, and legions of android troopers. And, you know, I'm paraphrasing poorly, but basically that is their mission statement, to fight against robots. Because woe betide you fire a gun at a flesh and blood human being. No. Not anymore. This isn't the 80s. This is the noughties. Anyway, roundabout way of saying he is synthetic, and quite haughty. He's like, "Oh, GI Joe, I'm going to get you personally." But here's the rub: if Sigma 6 had run to a 3rd season, the scuttlebutt on the internet is that Overkill would have a split from Cobra and develop into a 3rd faction that then Cobra Command either has to defeat or make renewed alliances with. Like, Overkill would become a major player in the Sigma 6 storyline and actually rival Cobra Commander for control of this enemy force.
Wow.
Maybe it would have led to interesting situations where GI Joe and Cobra would have to team up to defeat this army of AI led by Overkill.
That's
Cool stuff.
wild. That's a great development, though. Obviously, it's something similar happened in the comics. We touched on it earlier with Revanche being like its own thing. you can kind of see that being a parallel of what they were trying to do with Overkill in Sigma 6.
Telling you, man, if Larry somehow tied it all the way back to Overkill, if he even gave a shit about this character or knew that it existed, it would make me so, so happy. But I feel like he's unreachable now. Like, if you write a letter in to Skybound, is that ever going to pass his nose? Doubt it. The man's read enough letters in his day. I believe back in the Marvel days, they had like, maybe this is an exaggeration, but I think like 2,000 letters a month. Is that possible?
Ooh. I
Yeah, that is very possible.
absolutely possible for
Ooh.
sure.
And they maintain that they read every single one of them.
Hmm.
Probably not Larry personally.
Yeah, but so the editor's assistant probably sat
Someone in
and
the
went through
mailroom.
them.
Yeah,
Oh, this is a good one. Yeah, mark that one for further attention.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
For
Shortlisted.
sure.
Anyway, so we're 2-1. Rob and Steve like the original, completely
Mm.
synthetic origin story. Paul, you like the cyborg fallen warrior resurrection story.
I do,
2-1.
yeah, with a twist.
Okay.
With a twist.
Ooh.
Which can I go into that? And this, I think I should go into that.
What a twist!
Now is your time.
So when we conceived the idea for Renegades, it was sort of
This
I
is
had
the play motion feature from like 5 years ago, right?
Yes, yeah. So when we conceived that idea, there were things that I pulled out from other ideas, which were very similar to what had actually come out of the whole production of this. But my contributions to it came from I'd already like considered Overkill being somebody, like a person in his former life, and
Mm.
I love this. I had this character called Scorch, which was very inspired by a viper that was given to me that has burn marks on it, which is really cool. As being like the best friend of this main character that I had going through, which was Mercer, basically Mercer's journey. And then ultimately Scorch just loses his mind, being part of Cobra and training to be alley vipers and whatever's, and it's like a whole thing, right? And how that changed in Renegades is that we have Rick, and Rick falls in battle in Renegades. No major spoilers, but I love the idea of Rick becoming Overkill, because initially in my mind it was going to be Scorch, and then like so you got a friend who's lost his mind, then somehow falls in battle, gets burnt to a crisp or whatever's in a climatic battle with Mercer, and is then salvaged by Cobra and then put into a body, or his remains are put into a body, and that's Overkill. So how I wanted Renegades to go, and if we carry on the story of Renegades, where I would like it to go is have Rick become Overkill. And that's kind of where my mind is that we're there. Because I like the idea of like somebody that you're friends with being twisted and contorted, like having their mind completely messed up, and then becoming a major villain. And then on top of that, he's the missing link for the bats, because the bats up until this point are very like stupid. But by having Rick plugged into Overkill, there are sort of, let's call it, there's digital copies of Rick's combat experience that then get put into the bats, which essentially kind of makes them like digital versions of genome soldiers from Metal Gear, for example. You can see where my inspirational parents are here, where I'm stealing from. And that's kind of where I would like that to go. And that's why I didn't even actually know that Devil's Due actually did that with Overkill and the Saw Viper. When I say I didn't know, I think the first time I heard it was Steve mentioned it a while ago. But I know that I'd had this idea before then. Not that I'm like claiming that this is an original idea or anything by any stretch of the imagination, but it was pleasing to hear that somehow in the collective consciousness, or should I say in the logical progression of a conceptual thinking, that Devil's Due came up with that as well. Although I'm not the biggest fan of them using the Saw Viper in particular, it does make a lot of sense. I think it's far more interesting to have somebody that you actually care about living inside this metal shell, because then it does raise all these ethical questions, like how alive is the person in there? How much, is there a soul? Is there a ghost? That kind of vibe. And then knowing who it is, does that make it easier or harder for the Joes to shoot at, Overkill, if they know that he was one of their own? like
Yeah.
little things like that. And I love that. That creates an interesting sort of, like kind of battle idea.
Conflict, yeah.
Yeah, and then also Overkill's internal conflict. You still got Rick, who's got his own morals there, fighting, and maybe at some point also fights against Cobra in his own way, and so that could have gone in quite interesting direction. So yeah, that's where my headcanon goes, and I think that's why I'm so much in support of it being a cyborg, even if it's just a downloaded consciousness that stays alive. And this, by the way, is an idea that spawned in my mind when I got my first 25th anniversary bat. I was like, I'm like, my bat is special. He's not like the other bats. He's got a consciousness to him.
He's
somehow.
unique. He's mine.
So that's how this all spiraled out. Anyway, thank you guys for
Mm.
for listening and hearing that out. I want to throw something into the mix quickly as well, and maybe I'm jumping ahead of the game here a little bit, but something about Overkill's armor, and Steve said it now, a version to, or battle armor Cobra Commander, should I say? There's one part of Overkill's armor that reminds me of battle armor Cobra Commander, which and maybe I'm crazy, so I don't want to tell you what it is, but what do you guys think I'm referring to? Ooh.
It's the red thing on his crotch. That weird triangle thing there. Yeah.
Try again. But you're close.
Oh, okay.
You're close.
So
Steve's like, do you want to hazard a guess, Steve? Or where I'm going at? Or do you...
I'm swept up in looking at some more media appearances. So repeat the question.
Which part? There's a part of Overkill that reminds me of Battle Armor Cobra Commander, because you mentioned that earlier. So, what do you think I'm referring to? What part of Overkill do you think I'm referring to that's similar to Battle Armor Cobra Commander?
Reminiscent.
It's reminiscent. Maybe Overkill's, that part of Overkill's maybe the prototype for the Battle Armor.
Whoa.
Should I put you guys out of your
I'm
misery?
coming up with blanks, man. There's no furniture that I see that's shared.
Okay, so I feel like the legs on Overkill are what's underneath Battle Armor Cobra Commander's suit. Like that kind of construction. Because there's shapes, there's like certain shapes that they use for Overkill's legs that just every time I look at it, I always think of Battle Armor Cobra Commander. Even the legs. I feel like, oh, this is what the legs look like before the final armor.
Oh, before they put like armor plates on top of it. So this is kind of like
so there's a weird thing with Battle Armor Cobra Commander, which is more forgivable on Overkill. And that's, if you look at the Battle Armor Cobra Commander sculpt, it's a mix of silver base plastic and black base plastic. And on the elbows, they use both. So the one part of the hinge is black, the other part is silver, and so you've got this weird like marrying of these two colors within one joint. On Overkill, you got it at the knees, which is, I think, terrific. Normally, that would be a flaw or something that you'd try and conceal with paint or just otherwise not expose. But when you are dealing with a character that has robot legs, to have the gold lower legs set in between the black thigh pieces, that's cool.
It adds.
And I
so
like
much.
that as a design feature. I mean, it's just a happy accident, really. But on somewhere along the process, they were like, okay, we're going to use base gold plastic for the lower legs and then black plastic for the upper legs. And this is what the fallout of that is going to be. And it's cool because around the back, they've even got kind of a ratchet.
Yes, I wanted to mention that as well.
It's amazing.
It's very sexy.
Which so many cool little details of this figure just blow me away when you get it under the microscope.
Does Armored Cobra Commander also have that ratchet design in there? Or am I imagining things?
No, you're imagining things.
We're not talking about him on this episode. Let's talk a little bit more about some media appearances, because while he didn't appear in the ARA comic run, nowhere along the line from 1 to 155 are you going to find Overkill. Spoilers. You are going to find him in the Deke animated series. And I watched his key appearance not too long ago the episode's called Eliminator, which I know you watched as well, Rob, because it was Mercer V2's kind of debut appearance as well.
Get in jail, Mercer.
He
We can't
basically
trust
gets an
you.
upgrade
Mm-hmm.
from being Overkill to being the Eliminator. So it's mainly about the Eliminator, not Overkill. But the trope of him constantly being destroyed and rebuilt and destroyed and rebuilt is something that you could absolutely lean into if you were to give this character more spotlight.
Mm.
But when he comes back as the Eliminator, they incorporate features from the figure. He's got the chest cannon, kind of opens in a different way, but it's there. He's got this rad, like in his gauntlet, kind of freeze ray.
Yes.
Awesome. He can even use it not only to freeze his opponents, but also to make like ice shields.
Mm.
Great use. And he's one kick-ass snowboarder,
Of course.
as it turns
Of course
out.
he is.
Yeah. He can totally eat you up on the slopes.
Yes, but it's interesting that the design of Overkill and Deke is not like the design of the toy. It is very much a cartoon creation.
Think about it this way, Rob. How do you efficiently and economically animate a character that is this sort of broken up, has this many kind of
Yeah.
segments and
No,
sections and color
yeah, I
breaks?
get it. I get why they might have done
It's
it, but then
simplified.
yeah, but yeah, he
But
is kind of a clown throughout the entire Deke series, though.
well, this is what I
Like
want to
that's
ask you.
the
Since you've watched
conceit.
it, is there another robot in another Deke animated show that he gives you some flavor of?
And another Deke show.
Ay, ay,
Ooh.
ay, ay, ay. Sorry.
So no, I'll put you out of your misery.
Please do.
Basically,
I
he is
don't.
the Deke characterization of Overkill is totally doing T-Bob from Mask.
Oh goodness, yeah, he
He's got a
is.
speech impediment. Like, did you know? Like, he was always
Yeah, he
stammering.
does.
I mean,
Yeah,
he's always kind of in a box in pieces, so that probably explains the
for a
stammer.
lot of the time, yeah.
He's got a lot of difficulties in
He
getting
almost
words out.
always gets destroyed in some way or another. I mean, like I watched another episode which was featuring it was the first appearance of version 2 Storm Shadow, where
Uh-huh.
they have to go and find a sword in a like this magical sword in this weird kingdom, and they kind of he also gets destroyed in that story. So it's kind of like every episode that it's like, oh, Overkill gets destroyed again, and Cobra Commander has to decide whether or not to like fix him again.
It's a named character that you can keep killing.
Yeah,
That's a very unique opportunity in a kid's cartoon to be able to do that.
Mm.
So yeah, once again, an interesting trope that could have been explored had that cartoon not been shallow as
Yeah, but still not
As
kind of
Deke.
representing the original version of what the file card is suggesting he is. But because of the tone,
never
of the
get the
show, they couldn't
backstory.
really get that. Yeah, we don't get a backstory, so we don't really know much about him. But
He is a boss in GI Joe
Thank
2,
you, my
The
favorite.
Atlantis Factor by this is Capcom by this point.
Well, the original was also Capcom, but under
Yeah,
the name
sort of
Blackstar. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
sneaky. In I think it's level. I have it here. Level. Because it's a branching path, like Bionic Commando style. You can choose which way you want to progress on the map. But
Oh.
Area A actually is a sort of a base that's under construction. You
Yes.
are rescuing captured Joes who are curiously colored blue for some reason in the base.
Or
But
Atlantis Factor makes sense.
when
Visual representation.
when you reach the end of that level, you will fight Overkill. He walks towards you, and this is courtesy of Nintendo Power and Rage Viper Rob. Thank you, Rob. Overkill walks towards you and fires off exploding missiles. After firing the second missile, he will jump up over you while raining sparks down upon you. You must jump to avoid the missiles. Shoot or punch Overkill just before he jumps. When he jumps, move quickly to the other side of the room and blast him with your gun. So, sort of a two-pronged approach. He walks across the screen left to right, fires missiles out of his chest cannon, and then jumps up and rains down. They call it spark.
Yeah, and I love this. Yeah, and it's
Sparks.
such a rad sprite as well
Oh,
when he
beautiful.
does that. I
I
love
love it when he dies.
That appearance made him so much cooler in my eyes. Like, and that's saying a lot because Overkill was very cool for me when I first encountered him.
satisfying boss because he's only got 2 kind of attacks as part of his cycle.
Mm.
So you can get the timing, and he's fun to beat because you don't necessarily have to have the best weapon to take him out. You just have to have persistence, and that's sort of like typical Nintendo nerve-biting like adherence to the timing.
Yeah.
You fall out of the timing even for a minute, you're going to be punished
Just
severely.
play the song. Yeah. Just yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh,
And that, I
so
think,
good.
is his media appearances all
Wild.
sewn up.
Are you?
Am I
Yeah.
discounting his?
Well, apparently he did return in the CGI. Okay. Wait. You guys
Oh.
don't talk about that.
Nobody should
Don't
talk.
worry about it.
I'm
I
sorry.
Oh,
just
we talking
remembered.
about the Spy Troops and Valor vs. Venom era?
I was about to, but I remember you guys don't talk.
No, actually, but Rob, in all fairness, there are very few occasions where we can actually bring those appearances up, and I think it's a little bit unfair of us, even though we hate it. There are some people that got turned on to GI Joe by those things, and maybe they even hate it as well. But at that moment, when they were kids, they thought it was the coolest thing ever. So maybe you should mention it because I think it's quite interesting. Like I want
Well,
to
I
hear
don't know
more
much
now.
about it. I just saw that he apparently appears in there too. I still have
Okay.
yet to watch this infamous
Which one?
movie.
Is it Spy Troops, Valor vs. Venom?
Well, according to Wikipedia,
Hmm,
he returned in the CGI movie GI Joe Valor vs. Venom.
right.
Now clearly a half-human and half-machine cyborg version with a variety of robotic appendages and a tendency to repeat the end of his sentences in a manic tone of voice.
Okay.
That was a popular figure. They did many, many versions of that. Sort of semi-masked
Yes.
helmet with a sort of a
Okay,
face
so that's
covering.
the origin of
Got
that
the
look.
removable arm, and you can replace that with a cool-looking gun. Maybe something else.
Hmm. Okay, so that's the
Ooh.
origin of that look. I wasn't sure where they came up with that look from. So in 2003, they released 3 versions of Overkill. 2 of them look like that, and then they also did a recoloring of the original version, which was version 4 in the same year in a troop builder set. Very interesting recoloring. Basically,
Blue.
all of his blue, very cool. But also then it becomes confusing because you kind of established the cyborg version of him to look very different, but then you kind of re-release the original version as the cyborg version because the file card from 2003 onwards is always talking about him as a cyborg because of the way that I suppose he was established in the Valor vs. Venom movie, and I suppose later on Devil's Due as well.
Hmm.
That's kind of
Interesting.
confusing.
Look, I'm glad they brought back the classic sculpts because though it may be interesting to have this cyborg version, I think the original version's sculpt is superior.
Far superior for sure.
Well, it's got an older vintage to it.
Yeah, it has. It's more.
Pedigree.
It's more. Yeah, like it looks like it. He does. He looks more like a bat, or like an upgrade, or a variation on the bat, and which makes him look more in line with what with being a bat.
What
But
I'd be curious though, anyone who does have that blue version from the 2000s, we're ignoring the fact that he was a talking battle commanders up until this point, but let's
well,
talk about it.
yeah, I was
You
actually
take
about
that
to
backpack
say.
away using a pair, a screwdriver, and you've got this indent. It's different to the way the other talking battle commanders' backs work because they've just got a flat portion, whereas Overkill actually has a sort of a dent in his back into which the backpack will plug. So what did they do with that on the version that doesn't feature
Yeah.
a talking
Did
backpack?
they fill it in, or did they
Yeah,
just leave it
did
like
they
that?
leave it?
Because I was about to say, for anyone watching the YouTube version of this podcast, you'll have noticed us kind of like holding our toy up throughout the entire episode, and he does not have his backpack on. Early days, so Overkill was a figure that I got. Very early days, we figured out that you could take the backpack off, and I think we never put it on ever again because he is far more useful without the backpack on.
Yes.
I
Definitely.
encountered this figure before I knew how a screwdriver worked.
Mm.
So boy, was he a ball egg to play with. This was my buddy Lyle's figure. I never owned a Overkill back in the day, So it was thanks to Rob that I got my hands on one eventually to play with. But yeah, Lyle's one, because it had that backpack on it, was so loose and wobbly. He was always falling backwards. The knees gave out very early on. I do distinctly recall him sitting. I mean, the only vehicles he could operate were very open top ones. So we actually put him in a pulverizer. Like, he stole the Joe's pulverizer, and that was his primary wagon.
Hmm.
Because the backpack could actually fit between, the where the seat was and the cannon behind you.
Mm.
But yeah, we took it off. It is less egregious than other Talking Battle Commanders backpacks. I'll tell you why. Gets called out on the file card, and thank you, 3D Joes, for preserving this file card so immaculately.
Oof.
It is called a mind control memory drain unit.
Whoa.
Yes, the claw thingy.
Oh, is that the claw thingy? Bugger.
Yes.
Okay, then I'm reading the wrong point. So the claw device is designed to be a portable mind control unit,
Yeah,
but
next to
it's
these-
linked somewhat to the backpack, because there's sort of several points down from that. They say the backpack is a psychic sensor backpack.
Ooh.
Infer from that what you will, but I do think the idea is that Overkill is not only conventionally armed with his sort of machine gun chest and whatever the hell that gun is, but he also is designed to be like a remote brainwave scanner
Yes,
and
he
subjugate the
steals
wills
their
of his
brains
enemies.
and pops it into his backpack, basically. It's kind of
Well,
like
it's
a
also like
portable storage
not
unit.
for nothing that the claw has its sort of attached weapon angled perfectly to zap the brain of whoever is being like clamped by those mandibles.
It's such a cool like accessory. Like
It's so cool, in fact, I Mandela affected and thought that I had one, because I
Whoa.
got this. I inherited this from a buddy of mine who's giving me his childhood Joes, and for the longest time I had Rob's kicking around here. I had access to it, and it had all of its accessories and bits. This one has the hand, and it has the backpack, but it's missing the gun, and most
Ooh.
importantly, this mind control claw attachment, which is the coolest thing.
Mm.
But fortunately, as I say, I had access to yours in childhood, Rob, and boy, did I play the ever-loving shit out of this. Primarily
of-
in a kind of a sci-fi game
Yeah.
that's spun out of GI Joe. But either way, like, Overkill was my main guy. Not least of which because of the removable limb, which instantly made him bionic commando style. You kind of fire it off, and it would be attached via zip line to the figure.
Yes, like Kane from X-Force.
Yeah, any number of cool, like Spidey, if you want to go that far. But yeah, just having a removable hand made it this kind of grapple launcher, effectively.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
The
can see
file
that.
card also blows my mind because it makes reference to a flamethrower hidden in his leg. Love that.
Yes.
Sounds like Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm Boba the Fett. My right knee's got jets.
Like, I don't know about you guys, but I personally love the little information points,
Yes.
like that indicate various elements on the character's portrait. Like, how else would you know that his one eye is an infrared night scope and the other one is a telescopic analyzer eye? Because of course he's a robot. He doesn't need to have stereoscopic vision to get to the depth
Yeah,
of
of
things. He's
course.
got a laser rangefinder. He knows how far away things are from him.
Hmm.
What I don't get is why he has a oxygen regulator mask.
Mm.
Are we dealing with
That's-
a human then, or human remains?
Uh-oh.
Does he need to breathe?
Well, the file card doesn't suggest that in any way whatsoever, except for that one point.
Right. In any case, gents, examining your figures, if you will, where is
Ooh.
the flame projector on his legs? Can you indicate some element of this
Word.
figure that makes you feel like that's where the flames come out of?
I'm gonna say it's the little red things at the back of his heels.
Like jet boots.
Yeah, like jet boots. It's like he
That's
kind
for
of
the
like
boosters. Yes.
kicks in the air and he like blasts you
But-
with his
For the,
flamethrowers.
for the flamethrower, I think. I mean, I would joke now, and I said it's his right. No, actually, his right and his left leg. They've got these. His inner thighs have these two canisters in them, which make me feel
Mm.
like they feed into the. Because they I know there's a hydraulic system, but there's something about those canisters that seem more canister than hydraulics to me
Well,
right now.
if you look at his left leg, they're actually
Mhm.
four little dots just above his
There we
kneecap.
go. The vents. Yes.
Ding,
yes.
ding, ding. I always played those as the sort of flame nozzles. But
Mm.
why are there four? I don't know. Maybe there's a pilot light and a sort of a flame projector.
Would have projected more.
Yeah, I think even though those holes are there, I think those are just vents. I think it actually
Ooh.
shoots out the front of the knee, like like that, like a
Oh,
lighter,
okay.
like, and I can light my cigarette, like, you know.
Well,
So
how is he moving forward and flaming? Is he hopping on one leg?
like, yeah, he's a Jiangsu,
Well, maybe
man.
he
He's
takes a
Chinese
knee
ghost.
and then
He's
he
a
burns
hopping
people.
ghost, bro. He's like,
Takes a knee and he's like.
no, he's a hopping ghost. He just goes at you, man. He's totally a Jiangsu.
So many cool details, guys. And I must admit,
Thanks.
I made this the basis of my submission to Operation Recall.
Yes.
Except I made his attachment points sort of backwards compatible with classic Battle Android Trooper attachments.
Mm.
And I made him. What's cooler than a cyborg?
Two
A
cyborgs.
zombie.
Oh.
A zombie cyborg.
Zombie cyborg.
So he uses toxo zombie parts and kind of synthesizes them with the sort of overkill combat shell. I'm sure it was shot down because it's way too GI Joe dependent. I didn't understand the brief when it came to Operation Recall to create something that stands on its own outside of Cobra, outside of GI Joe. So I just basically sucked on the teat that was overkill /
You just
toxo zombie.
love GI Joe too much.
And is that really a crime? No.
It
14
really
years has proven that it's not so far. Guys, I want to play. I would like to play a game.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a word association game. So when you look at Overkill, name 3 other things in popular culture, or just name 3 things that come to your mind when you look at Overkill.
Oh.
Deadshot.
Okay.
From Batman.
Okay,
because
cool.
one of Deadshot's looks is definitely just the one sort of optic.
Yeah, like
yes.
And the rest of his face is completely smooth. So
Hmm.
Overkill has that cross over his one eye.
I hope the listeners are playing as well. The listeners and viewers.
Oh, I think they are. Drop your comments below, guys.
Yeah, please.
Ooh,
So that's one from me.
that is one from Steven.
Okay, I'll throw one in then before
Please
Rob,
do.
because Rob looks like he's warming up. Jason Voorhees.
Yes,
There's a very
actually.
Jason Voorhees vibe to Overkill for me.
Yeah, because of the lower half of his face being the oxygen regulator. It
Definitely.
looks like a hockey mask.
Yep, and also if you put light, the silhouette, the way his face reads, if you put light behind it, really reminds me of Jason Voorhees. It's just Jason Voorhees for me.
Fascinating.
And Rob, you? There's one more I want to mention as well, but
stealing all the good ones. Oh, geez. I don't know, Terminator, I guess, but not
Terminator,
really.
No, not really. I think
I don't see it.
Yeah.
Red optic. Once again.
Red optics.
Another one I'm going to say
Terminator
is C3PO.
Ugh.
There's a very strong C3PO likeness in this head. And I still I reckon, and I have this theory. This is actually why I wanted to play this game with you. But then, I am the only one who suggested it. So now I'm talking about it. So it's like, wow, what a loaded question, Paul.
Hey guys, doesn't he look like C3PO?
I think that they took C3PO's head from the old Kenner figure. And I think they used that as a basis to sculpt over. Or they used C3PO's head as a basis to sculpt over. And sanded some stuff down, because this really feels so much like C3PO's head that's been modified.
I can see it, on the silhouette. Like if you kind of see like the bumpy parts on the side, and especially the bumpy part at the top. I can kind of see
look,
it.
the exposed brain thing total carryover from Range Viper. And before they
Mm.
actually had these sculpted up, there's a catalog shot, an early catalog shot where they had mock-ups, and Overkill is absolutely using Range Viper's head painted gold.
Wow.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah, DJs, you've probably seen this particular catalog shot and not realized it, Paul.
And
It's
not
a
realize
delight.
and not realize that was supposed to be Overkill, that it was just gold-headed
Range
Range
Viper's
Viper.
head. That
No,
is
it's
interesting.
called out as Overkill on the catalog.
Oh, interesting.
Mm.
I'm just gonna
I'm
have
gonna
a look.
find it. I'm gonna
Steven
find
is
it.
gonna
Steve's
find
gonna
it,
find
guys.
it. He's gonna
Ooh,
do some
ooh,
sleuthing.
ooh. He is
So,
snoofing.
so guys, while Steve is doing his Google foo there,
Hmm.
I want to ask you, what are your favorite parts on this toy, like so far, like from the sculpt? And I'll start, Rob. It's between you and I, and then Steve can jump in as
Oh
well.
gosh, I probably would say the legs.
Mm.
I'm I'm probably misremembering this, but I feel like for our shifters games, because Stephen and I often talk about our incredible multiversal sci-fi storyline, yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I was the one who used Overkill's legs for my character, and I used the upper body of Budo, not Budo, yes Budo, the head of Budo.
Mm.
What did I use? No,
Dude, you are missing the best part if that's the case. The chest is astounding. But anyway, please continue.
yeah, no, I'm misremembering.
So
Jeez.
yeah, Samurai Jack, who was a Budo
Yes.
character who very much Alex Murphy, RoboCop, fell in battle and was replaced cybernetically. You gave him Overkill's legs
Yeah,
and
legs and
arms.
arms. Yeah, and then he
Had
had
Budo's head,
his head.
and I think some black torso of some kind.
Hmm,
Maybe you kept Budo's torso. Just gave
it's
him these.
possible. Yeah, I gave him the limbs. Yeah, so
Because
he was kind of
maybe you
like
didn't
this
want the
cyborg.
fiddliness of like having a machine gun in your chest. But
No,
honestly, can you beat that?
no, quite, yeah, you can't. But like the legs themselves then have that nostalgic thing, like because I've played with them so much, and not just as Overkill, but as this awesome character. But yeah, the legs for me stand out the most because of that. But yeah, Stephen, you're right. The chest is an incredible feature for this figure. Unfortunately,
As a shit for brains 8-year-old, I didn't know. I didn't know. Like I just thought it was a cool sculpt element that you've got this translucent panel, and then clearly some like sculpted detail underneath it, like maybe some organs of some kind. Like we've seen lesser action figures from lesser toy lines that use that cheap parlor trick. Like Motu would have a character with like, like Roboto. You can see the inner workings, but you can't access them.
You can't do
They're
nothing
just
with them.
tantalizingly there.
Yeah.
They do
But this
move a little
guy,
bit when you move the arms, but let's not go there.
yeah. They've got function, but you can't, open up the
Can't
chest,
interact
play
Yes,
with them
around
yeah.
with it.
yourself.
This
You can't
guy,
touch them.
man, oh man, was it a mind-blowing thing when Lyle figured it out and he was like, wait, there's a hinge on the side so we can oh my god.
So
And therein lies its greatest Achilles heel, because
yes,
anyone
Yep.
Yeah,
watching this knows
you can see from Paul and I's
yep.
figures. Yeah,
that
mine has
hinge is
snapped off.
so tiny. Well,
Fragile.
mine is also broken, but I
Oh,
managed to take that little tiny plastic chit and super glue the ever loving shit out of it, and it's holding. But I'm trepidatious about popping it open and exposing the gun,
Steven's doing
because
it live for us.
yeah, do it live and it'll
Steven
absolutely
is.
tear apart.
Here he
So
goes.
so Rob, you said you got this toy early days then, like
I did. I don't remember exactly when I got it to who even bought it for
Well,
me.
kind of in the middle years, Rob. It was definitely when we found
Plastic toy
factory
shop.
toy shop. So we were like 14.
14, yeah, but still, that's early days ish. That's early enough. So Stephen has managed to open his chest and expose his guns to us.
It's always awkward to get the chest around the elbow, the shoulder joint,
yeah.
because
Yes.
it will make contact, and every time you kind of squeeze it past, you're putting pressure on that
Yep.
very fine translucent
Yeah.
hinge. So I'm gonna just leave it that way and just prop the gun up on the tab.
So
But the gun's nice and tight. That's make no bones about it. And it is indeed a 50 caliber machine gun, though the magazines would not make you think that. They look much smaller, like a pistol round,
I
or like
still can't believe.
5.56.
Yeah, those. I can't believe that this is a machine gun. I can just believe that it's an
Or a
automatic.
50 cal. You
Yeah,
mean?
50
It-
cal. I can kind of believe.
Whoa.
I can kind of believe to a degree, because it just, like the gun isn't designed for him to hold. So yeah, and he's a machine, and he's got all of the structure that protects him. So they could realistically do some kind of 50 caliber at a similar size coming out of his stomach.
Yeah. The cool thing about the gun, it's not symmetrical.
Yeah. The one magazine is kind of a banana mag that kind of
Mhm.
angles towards his torso.
Then
The
the
other
other
is a
comes
straight
straight out.
mag. And that tells me that these might be different ammo types.
Yeah,
You know, we got
9mm.
explosive rounds in the one, and the other has armor piercing.
Mm.
Either way, cool feature, extremely cool feature, very unique. You know, another character that has a unique translucent chest is Zartan. That pops off, that has a little window to it, but nothing quite as cool as a hidden weapon. How very Rio Blast of him.
Yes,
Mhm.
very
Um,
real blast of him.
but
Actually.
something that I was admiring today, you know, no two Overkill characters or figures are going to be the same
Yep.
because it uses that swirly gold paint.
Melange.
Not paint. It's swirly
Ah.
gold plastic.
Melange.
Melange. Thank you. Peter.
Melange.
For his head. And
Okay.
I don't know about you guys, but like so far my head's intact. It's not succumbing to any kind of gold plastic syndrome and crumbling to dust. But it is cool and swirly and has like a little like scarring in places. Rob's
Yeah.
showing a beautiful sort of close up of its pearlescence.
You'll
I don't
see
think the
mine in
camera
the
can do that.
thumbnail, by the way.
Hey, nice. But yeah,
So-
it is true. The heads are all unique.
and it gives it so much character, actually.
Mm.
That scarring, because it does make
Built-in
it.
battle damage.
Yeah, and also just built-in drama as well. Like the battle damage, yes, but the drama because of the lines and things that it creates.
Mm.
So for me, guys, my first encounter with this figure was actually quite soon after it hit shelves, because I got Stalker, as you guys will know,
Mm.
and Michael Kerrigan got Cobra Commander, and David swooped in on Overkill because he had to. And the reason he bought it, and this is what he told me, is he really wanted to see what was behind that chest. That was the reason he bought it.
Okay.
And
What a
So
draw.
yeah, so he was very. I mean, we were blown away by the fact that it has this gun. I mean, that David was so excited to show me this feature, and I remember being just absolutely blown away. Remember, and somewhere in that mix, we had the bat version 2 already. So the hand coming off wasn't that mind blowing. Remembering, of course, that we had a bat version 1 in the house as well. So that wasn't like too mind blowing, but the chest gun thing was. Now this figure has only got one major flaw, and I didn't even get to my favorite part on it yet, but I will get
yeah,
there.
I was about to ask actually.
So while the chest feature is a great feature, it's and especially to me as a kid, I actually bought my own, by the way, because David would never let me play with this toy because he was so scared of me breaking the chest. So I actually got my own, so I could be like, "Fuck you!"
So
Yeah,
you could break
it's
it
mine.
yourself.
So I could break it myself. And also I could also lose the hands all by myself and not worry about losing David's ones. But my actual favorite feature on this is the legs. But as Steve pointed it out earlier, these sort of ratcheted, the ratcheted sculpting behind the knees and the nape
Yeah.
of the knee, I love that so much.
Great detail.
I think it's such a great detail, and not for nothing, guys. The ribbed texture on his ass is great. I love it. It's very unique. It's very muscle suit, and I do dig that. I think it's a
It's
clever
very
idea.
David Lynch
Yes.
Harkonnen.
Yes,
Like
Ah,
the baddies from Dune
yes,
from
are
from his
all
version.
like very ribbed. Those suits,
Yes.
they're still suits or whatever they're using. They're Harkonnen get-ups.
Yeah.
Like you can just picture Sting rocking a pair of these.
Yeah. They're great. I would rock a pair of these pants if I could find something like that. I'm sure I can. The internet is a vast and dangerous place.
It's a wonderful place.
Yeah, so like my first encounter was that I believe David got his from a Dion, no, Pick and Pay actually in Northgate, which was like a hypermarket. It was the big flagship Pick and Pay, which had all the greatest toys at the time, and it was the second best thing next to like a Toys R Us or factory toy or factory toy store actually. In fact, so he got his there. I think I got mine from the same. Oh, no, I got mine from a Dion's eventually. I was just happened to be there for some reason with my dad, and I was like, Dad, I have this GI Joe.
I need this guy.
Hoeveel kost dit? Dis 50 rand.
That's
Like,
50 rand.
ja, fucking funny ding. Overkill's mine. That's the tag. That's the tag. The worst feature of this toy, though, I must say, is actually his backpack. And the reason I say that is because it diminishes one of the Bat's coolest features is keeping his weapons, his extra hands on the backpack. Now, Bat version 2 is also kind of offensive with how it does it, but Overkill is the worst because you got this massive backpack which he has to like stretch above his head to get the parts off.
Yeah.
You know,
Look, it's thoughtful that the backpack has that little nub that you can attach the hand or the claw to.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's very thoughtful. I mean, like when I discovered that, I was like, they didn't have to do that, but I'm glad they did it.
Yeah.
And yes, if your backpack was still attached, you'd have the use of that. But since it's not, I guess a pocket will do. You can just
Really
imagine that he kind of morphs his hand into the claw and mind control laser as and when he needs it.
But while the backpack is a terrible feature, as like a physical item, it does provide hours of fun. It
For
has
the whole family.
4 sounds. I believe one of them was like a gun sound.
Here they are.
Courtesy
of 3D Joe's. Let's try that again. Courtesy of 3D Joe's, Carson has chronicled all of these sounds in ear-splitting 1992 quality.
That shit's whack.
That shit's whack. Very good.
Rat attack.
Second phrase.
Restroy.
Third
This
phrase.
My bum.
Right out the line.
My
right
bum.
out.
Because we were in school at the time, Rob and I thought that was right out, as in writing out lines.
Writing out lines for detention.
Whatever.
Put you
They
in
were lame.
detention.
And then
No, he says
the
wipe
wipe
out.
sound.
Like
Everyone else had
Like
like
the video game.
everyone else had the typical like or like kind of sound effects. This was pretty unique and kind of related to his mind control zapper. I'll play it again. Hey?
Yeah. That is actually pretty cool.
And it also relates really nicely to the video game because the video game's projectiles when he jumps over you seem like they suit that sound of
Oh, that's great.
in my opinion.
So yeah, it terrible backpack, but the sound effects were hours of fun. And
As
yeah,
does-
this was phrases.
The way the art portrays his attachment, it's kind of emanating these like bubbles of pink energy. So it's not a laser. It absolutely is gonna like flip out your brain.
Yeah, and talking of the art, I love that they actually represent the see-through chest. Whoever the artist was on this did a really great job of kind of like creating this menacing robot with a see-through chest.
90s card art is glorious.
Rat
Let's
attack.
now play the game that I had teed up from earlier, where we take a look at the European catalog. And take a look at who the stand-in action figures were.
Is this a cat?
Do the parts naming. Paul, was I correct in assuming you have seen this before?
Yes, I used to pore over this.
Wow. Now
And
that
you
you
never
pointed
realized
it
that you were
out.
looking at mock-ups.
My fucking brain. And thank you, Mandela effect. I was going to ask you this earlier. I always remember his backpack is gold. I keep forgetting it's actually red.
This is wild. I've looked at this thing, probably maybe not poured over it, but I have looked at it, and I never realized that the Overkill was not Overkill.
Yeah.
But now that I'm looking at it, you can see that his head is Range Viper, and you can see his legs are what is
DJ.
that, DJ? Yes.
Yep.
Wow.
That blows my mind.
Well, take a look in the back row. Who's the parts donor for that hawk?
Oh, recoil.
Recoil's head, but the
Oh.
body?
Okay, I can't see
Flint.
that well. I mean, like fucking eyes of the hawk not working.
You
here
can
for me.
see Flint's shotgun shells. You
Oh
can see
yeah.
his sort of double belt.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Okay.
Flint's
They've even
upper
painted.
body.
They've painted his short sleeves to be long sleeves. Then moving down to Cobra Commander, you can see that it's actually version 1 Cobra Commander, but they've painted long boots instead of the sort of gusseted, like
yes.
spat shoes.
Crap. Now that you mention it,
What's
that I've never
interesting-
noticed.
What's also interesting about Hawk is how is he holding his gun in his left hand?
Carefully.
Well,
yeah, because the button's behind
angle.
the elbow. Yeah.
No, not that. But the angle that he's holding it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it's classic, like shitty
They just kinda
posing
glued it
figures
in
to
there.
have the butt of the gun over the elbow instead of tucked under.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is not making fabulous radio. Let's talk a
True.
little bit about Overkill's gun, because we gotta.
Ooh.
Like, he
We do
came with an
gotta.
accessory that is not
We
an
have
attachment.
to. We have no choice.
It was a separate thing. The card is very unhelpful. It just says contains figure and accessories. Gee, thanks. Then, like, the information points also doesn't sort of it's
They
not
give us
called out at
no
all.
idea what it does.
So what is it, boys? Or I should ask, what did you play it as?
It's probably like some sort of laser gun.
Yeah.
It is weird.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like a sniffer, but yeah, I also had it like as a wave emitting kind of plasma gun.
Some
or
sort of
something.
sonic weapon, I guess. Yeah.
like a-
Because it has kind of like little tubes on the at the top and the bottom, but then in the
Yeah.
middle is this kind of like very flared barrel.
Well, I got a lot of mileage with this figure, and I loved his included accessories. So best believe I found a unique way of using this gun. So do you remember the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie called The Eraser?
Oh god,
Mm.
did you do that gun?
That gun. So for anyone unfamiliar, the weapon used in The Eraser was it fired hypersonic projectiles. So
Mm.
basically like a man portable railgun.
Yeah.
So it could fire basically something the size of a needle, I think, and then it had the penetrative power to go through solid walls, like concrete, like armor. You point this gun, and
Yeah,
of
you
course
can kill
it had a
anything.
killer optical system to go with it that could
Mhm.
basically also see through walls. And so that is what I use this as, this kind of this weapon that in the hands of Overkill, thanks to his kind of radar or X-ray vision optics, he could basically snipe you behind walls, inside buildings, inside bunkers. He could make the kill. He could make the overkill. Yeah.
Shit the thing.
So that was me. That's how I played it. I'm interested to listen to like maybe there's 5 members of the audience who love Overkill and use this weapon. What did you use it as?
Yeah.
Please drop into the comments. If it is your first time in the comments, this is the one to lead with. 'Cause
Do
if you, as I
it.
say, are that very, very small number of people,
That love him like we do.
love him like we do, and played with that accessory, and
Can
didn't
we
just
talk-
tuck it in the bin and use a machine gun, more conventional gun.
Can we speak to that a little bit? How is it that we know that people aren't excited about Overkill? I don't know. For me, I never thought people were. I thought people were into this guy.
0 comic book appearances in the sort of the main run.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Talking battle commanders with a weird, the backpack is a big detractor.
Yeah.
And then this kind of muddled characterization. Is he
Yeah.
a pure robot? Is he a cyborg?
His
Where do you
appearance
fall
in
on that?
Beak leaves a lot to be desired with him being kind of like a bumbling fool. Like, would
And
you
no one except
really
me
want
and
that
Michael
figure?
Bell enjoy Sigma 6, so there's that.
There you go.
Wow. Okay.
I
So,
don't know. It kind
shut
of
that
makes
one
sense.
down.
Actually, I can add one more person to that. Mish actually enjoyed Sigma 6.
Ah.
Sigma 6!
Well, thank goodness. I guess she was obviously a big fan of Sigma 6 then.
She was surprisingly. So
Ah.
yeah.
But yeah, I think because yeah, I would agree with Stephen. I mean, his various appearances or non-appearances leave him as kind of like a mystery. You know, you kind of don't know enough about him, or the way he's presented isn't interesting enough to kind of like draw someone in to buy him.
He
Weird.
came into his own for me in a sort of a
Mm.
non-GI Joe setting, and I'll tell you why. As a
Why?
Bat Commander, this guy, the very presence of this figure compels you to army build bats, and that just wasn't practical back in the day. Like, it was always odd to me that you had this guy in the field commanding like one version 2 bat, and then of course everyone had a Cobra Bart, the battle
You're
armored
you're
android
I'm
trooper,
in charge of you.
The
One guy.
the Star
One
Brigade
man.
bats, basically.
Mm-hmm.
one.
So we had him and 2 buddies
one
to be
man.
his lackeys.
His lackeys. There's not much of an army. Mm.
No, you need to build up your bats if you've got a bat commander. It's not just a
Mhm.
novelty item, it is sort of a legion unto itself that he is then in control of.
So, Paul,
Wipe out.
you disagree? Do you think he was quite a popular character?
Yeah, I
mean,
thought he
the
was
fact
like.
that you and David both sought him out.
Yeah,
kinda
I thought he
suggests-
was because I mean, like he has all these cool like toyetic features: the removable limbs, the openable chest.
Mm.
Like that was a cool thing. Like I thought I thought my friends or people around me went nuts for this guy.
Would
I
all
just-
have wanted him, but he came out
Sorry,
so
dude.
soon. I mean, well, not soon. I mean, when did version 2 of the Bat come out?
Oh, in the 90s.
1991.
Yeah,
1991, and he came out 92, so only a year later. So I mean, you already had
that is
arguably
a
a better version of this, or at least a more playable version of this.
Holly Haw, Robbie?
No,
I used to use. I tell you what, in this sort of science
you
fiction
know what I
setting,
mean.
his nemesis, my Overkill figure's nemesis, was that bat.
Yeah,
It made a lot of sense because that is such an impersonal kind of, like, that is a more cold-blooded killer. This guy has a visage. He has 2 individuated eyes. He's got sort of an arched eyebrow, or at
he
least
has a Versace.
sculpting to make it look like an eyebrow. He actually looks like he is differently abled. It looks like he's got missing eye.
yeah.
He there's a sympathetic side to looking at this guy. Like, he looks like he is
Can
haggard and put through hell and put back together, much
Which
like
re-
his depersonalization.
Which
But-
reminds me of Jason Voorhees, as I mentioned earlier. It's got that feel. Sorry, Steve.
But yeah, no, I just wanted to reiterate that, like, Bat V2 seemed like the baddie
Yeah,
to my Overkill because of the completely
it kind of
blank
faceless.
face.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But I'm
one
just
of the
saying that because we got a version of this that was infinitely more playable a year before this, I think that's probably also another reason why you wouldn't have
I wouldn't say
this guy
infinitely
again.
playable. Those
Well,
tentaculars
more
were problematic
playable.
as well for different reasons. Adhesive drying up and cracking off. Yeah, no, but he was a tough figure. I just remember using them in these kind of like zipline battles because they
Mm.
both had the sort of the removable hand grab hold of a
You
leg.
could do something like that, yeah.
So they'd constantly be flying through these cityscapes trying to
Mm. But
gain
maybe people will
advantage.
prove us wrong. I mean, me and Steven wrong. Maybe like he was super popular. Everyone owned him.
Yeah, perhaps.
The people who have hung in the longest in GI Joe are the 82 to say 86 or 7 crowd, and
Okay.
anything after their time is new ground for them, which they either choose to reject or have kind of grown an affinity for. And I like the fact that GI Joburg listeners are typically in that latter camp. They're like, yeah,
Mm.
that shit's
Very
awesome.
open to
If
new
it says
things.
GI Joe on it
even though,
now, it's worth
you know,
collecting.
it's old new.
So,
It's just not in the sweet spot, is what I'm saying, Paul.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
I
no,
get
cool.
it.
I mean, that's why I
you
wanted to
know.
ask the question because
Fair enough.
maybe we're making an assumption, okay, should I say I wanted to at least investigate and discuss this, because I just felt that maybe we were coming across maybe a little too anecdotally when it came to like, just passing it off as, oh, he wasn't that popular, and maybe that also just shows my own personal bias and how much I really enjoy this guy, which also saddens me that this is all I have for Overkill. His chest plate is somewhere, but I don't have his hand. I don't have his backpack. I don't have his guns. Yeah, this is like a bare bones one I bought from a local dealer because in a lot of ways I just wanted to rescue him.
Mm. Can't leave him in that bin.
Yeah, and I also, because of that story idea I had, I wanted to have an Overkill 2-hand to be able to mess around. I forgot that the file card mentions him as being in the Earthquake Driver, which I think is such a mundane task for him, and I think Road Pig is a much better fit for that. But hearing that and having an Earthquake, that makes me quite happy.
Yeah, you can put them together. It's also an
Yeah.
interesting detail that they kind of make him a driver when he doesn't come with the vehicle.
Yeah, and he wouldn't even be able to fit in that vehicle, to be fair.
With the backpack,
Actually,
Would
no,
he?
he wouldn't be able to. No, he wouldn't be able to. In English, that sounds like he would be able to hang on the back.
Well, I'm afraid 3D Joe's just tells you to hold their beer. Because here it is. Boom. I mean, he's kind of peering out of the top, but he's absolutely in there with his backpack
It's
on.
totally in there.
Yeah, but now he's completely messing up the play feature. Because now,
Yes.
yeah. So, ugh.
So it
But
is
it is included
doable
on the box art, which is awesome.
without his backpack. They're
Oh,
cheating.
yes.
They obviously always wanted you to take the backpack off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the box art would posit the Cobra Earthquake as a battle android trooper kind of chariot.
Yes.
It's
'Cause
covered.
who else are you going to put on this crazy
bats.
thing, man?
The
Flesh and
Dreadnoks.
blood troops? Forget about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dreadnoks makes
would-
sense to
yeah.
me for sure. They're
I
also,
love this toy.
disposable.
I can't wait for us to talk about this toy properly one day. But I can only do so when I get the little extra attachment that maneuvers the front end loader part.
And
Or the scoop. Because
scoop.
I can't get the full play effect, but so much about this toy is great, and so much of it is overlooked. And one day we've really got to chat Earthquake because it is
Wonderful
beautiful.
construction vehicle.
Beautiful toy.
Incredible.
Wish I had it with me in Cape Town when we were busy messing up Cesspool and his gang. This thing would have wrecked their shit. If you don't know what I'm talking about, refer to episode 402.
Ooh.
Steven's birthday surprise. This toy is
This
great.
is definitely a 90s vehicle.
It is.
Wow.
But it is so playable, my dude. It is just unbelievably playable. And I'm not somebody who likes construction vehicles. Yeah. I'm like definitely not part of the Devastator fanboy club.
Ooh. Steven's gonna have words with you.
And I have a lot of respect for construction vehicles. I mean, I've got tons of reference because they're great to draw from. But I've just never gone, oh well, you know what I really want in my life is a bulldozer,
I need one.
And I discovered an Easter egg on 3D Joe's. So typically in the arc spin presentations of the vehicles, they're completely frozen. But here between this frame and the next frame, the dozer blade goes down a little bit.
Oh my goodness, this is
Somebody
riveting.
bumped it.
That happens, man, when you're doing rotoscopes.
Yeah,
3D,
you're trying your best, but sometimes you knock a thing.
It's not a rotoscope. It's an
isometric
roundabout. Whatever. Who cares? It is.
When it's going roundabout. I feel like we have overkill.
Let's not overkill. Before we overkill. Yeah. Overcook.
Which way do you break, dear listener? Do you like him being a pure robot? Or do you like him being a cybernetic resurrected Saw Viper?
Or do you even just like him? That would be great.
Do you even like him at all? Was this an episode that you struggled to get through? Where you're like, oh, overkill.
Overkill, fans, unite.
Absolutely the worst character ever. Oh, no, Overkill's great.
I tried to get my battery. I put batteries in this, and it didn't work, sadly. Last time I checked, yours still worked, Rob. I don't know if the passage of time has been kind or unkind, but this is one from a friend's childhood collection, whereas Rob's, I can vouch for. It was always in our possession.
It never landed in the pool or something. So.
No, nothing like that. When I did open this up, unfortunately, the sort of discarded screws were all on top of the speaker, sort of magnetically stuck to the speaker. And I don't know if that had an effect on it.
It could do. It could do. It could miss the polarity or something. Or
who knows?
No, mine does not work anymore, unfortunately.
I would suggest pulling the batteries out if they are still in there.
Unless you took them out, yes, they are still in here, Stephen.
Yeah, well, I'm suggesting you remove them, Rob, because
It's a
the
little late
corrosion.
now, Stephen.
Because
It's
It's
been
never too
40
late.
plus
Hey,
years.
I cleaned some corrosion off my battle wagon, and it was the most
Okay.
satisfying thing you could
Oof.
ever imagine because
That
that
sounds
white
like-
wine vinegar just ate it up
Oh.
in this
Mm.
this amazing, like, very like sciencey, bubbly, fizzy.
Did you wear a mask?
Why do you think I'm so crazy
Why
now,
would
bro?
you want to do
I was
that?
gonna say,
Why
like,
would you want to do that?
Lost a few
well,
brain cells, but I didn't need them anyway.
yeah, well, you know what? It's fine. It'll make it easy.
Rob, do you have a figure to hand? Clip it into that claw.
That
and
is a
show
feature.
us.
That is a feature David and I cannot ever remember doing that as a kid.
You never ever did that? Why wouldn't you?
I think we had a very different vision of that weapon. We never thought of it as a head clamping thing.
Well, I watched a review just yesterday where a guy was like, "Yeah, it's a machine gun, and it fires through the hoops of these mandibles." Like, nah,
Why? Why
that
though?
ain't the intention, brother.
Look at the file card, buddy. But
We
still,
did
that's
look
a
at the
very
file card.
inventive way of using it for sure.
This is
And
very
what's
cool.
cool is you can kind of make the victim kind of kneel in submission, or you
Mhm.
can hoik them into the air.
Hoik them.
Yeah.
Hoik them.
And hoik
Because
them.
of course he's got, you know,
Hoik. He's got strength. He's a robot. He
exactly.
can hoik them as hoik and high as he wants.
So cool. Anyway, let's
cool.
not overkill.
Oh my
This has
goodness.
been another great episode of GI Joburg, if I do say so myself. Hope you had fun,
Wow.
everybody. I certainly did.
Yeah. And thanks to our patrons and YouTube members for your support. You make
guys
these episodes
rock.
possible. You guys rock. If you guys are
Oh,
interested,
that's where the
links,
hand is. It's
if you
attached to the
guys
gun.
if you guys are interested, links to the Patreon and YouTube membership are in the
Thank
description below. And thank you for checking out this episode.
Yeah,
Let
thanks
us-
for staring at us or listening to us. Hope we
Or
made your
listening to
day
us.
better. And
Yeah, or
you
your
make
morning
our days
commute.
better too, always. Or your evening, maybe you fell asleep to us. Cool times.
Berg, 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 berg.